So, Dave, that's interesting. I think your take on China is actually very consistent with the fears that a lot of offshore investors have about the region. So as you start to turn, and halfway through the year, you started to turn towards the US, deploying capital there, still with the focus on, it sounds like, on Taiwan, Japan, and the rest of Asia. Walk me through how you see, I guess it would be the ABC anything but China trade. You mentioned Japan, which is very interesting on the chemical side. You mentioned Taiwan as well, obviously, and NVIDIA. From a market segment side, does the fund look primarily at highly liquid large cap, or would you be looking at mid cap segments in other markets, say like Korea, for example, or even in Southeast Asia, as fund flows start to benefit some of the manufacturing and sectors out in these markets?
I think because of technology landscape, I think the focus will still be Taiwan and Japan for the semiconductor or AI supply chains here. Especially, I think semiconductors here. We have been actually trying to do more studies on Korea. Especially, I think people here have also hear a lot of this high bandwidth memory, and in Korea have supply chains. They also are company very competitive as well. So, but those are always a lot more volatility, and we haven't been able to access the market until very recently. So I think that's some of the agenda that this year they will want to put in more effort and to looking at the Korea big cap net. Just go back to your first question before I forget. Our portfolio is actually very liquid. I have been a big fund manager for major big house. So our focus has always been a large cap net. So I think those are also more transparent in terms of coverage and access. So this will still remain to be our primary investor target. Now, I think that because we are able to looking at a supply chain and channel check much faster than other investors or sell side. So we will also have a certain percentage of our position invest in mid-cap stock as well. I think that because those stock would generate significant alphas for our portfolio investors. Now for China, I think that is also the case. I think domestic replacement continue to be the same. So I think that's something that's a lot of opportunity there, and we'll continue to follow closely as well.
Excellent. Yeah, you're right. I'm hearing it through multiple peers that domestic replacement narrative is actually quite interesting. It's generated a lot of alpha there. But having said that, the main upside right now, at least in the current market condition, is Taiwan, US. What about Netherlands? I heard Netherlands is also a destination, of course, because of TSMC's relationship there and its cross-stream for suppliers.
I think Netherlands is probably just add something else. I mean, this is obviously the mega cap, the EUV. So, I mean, it's critical, but we don't have position in this stocks. And the reason is not because the technology is not critical, but it's because we think they are downside for the market, downside for market expectation. I think the market expectation is too high. And there are two parts. So one is the timing of high-end EUV. I think that it probably be a bit later than most people expected. Second is the tools, the order books. I think a lot of that are probably, well, obviously a lot depend on how AI boom. If the AI boom is stronger than our expectation, people can pull in those order book, but otherwise expectation on the new orders might be on the high side. Or I think that at least according to our check, actually the expectation is a bit too high.
It's always for investors coming in, especially if they're considering even either directly taking on a position, being sidelined by NVIDIA for too long because there's no retracement that allowed them to get back in. Are we too late? Are investors too late coming into this narrative? And if so, too late in the main stocks, where is your fund focusing over the next 18 months? You mentioned chemicals, potential suppliers for the packaging, etc. Any other areas that are worth looking at, that we weren't able to cover earlier?
I don't think it's too late. I think there are still a lot of potentials. It just depends on which stock you pick and whether they have more upside in the longer terms. But if you just want to be, a simple and focused, just having one stock, obviously, I think I would still buy NVIDIA. The reason for that is I mean, not saying that there's no bump in the short terms. I would say that, because we can do the supply chain check, we probably are more nervous than, average investors. Because if we look at the order book for the current product, it's probably not going to make it, which will make you worry as well. But that's for a good reason, because as I think just in the beginning of our talks, they're coming up from performance is just so tremendously better than the current generations. That if you are Microsoft, if you are the cloud service provider, if you are willing to wait for 3 months, then you get a machine that is 10 times better. Why not? So that is why we see cloud service providers are cutting orders and switching to the new platforms. Now, so in a way that I am not, that's why I say I don't know how people it's going to read that when maybe NVIDIA is not going to beat market expectation in second quarter or third quarter. But the reason is because they're coming out products so good. So maybe there are opportunity for the stock to trace back. But I think if you looking at the longer term, or at least in the next 2 years, that is still a stock that you want to hold. I think just not, even if we look at 6 months ago, I would say, AMD is catching up with NVIDIA, with the MI300, MI350. NVIDIA had to, scratch their pocket and launching their new H200 product to catch up, sort of like equalize, with AMD. But now AMD has to go back to their drawing boards to come up to catching up with the designs. And so does for Intel's Habana, they make their AI called Gaudis, or it doesn't matter with Amazon's or Google's TPU, everybody like that. They see the new product, say, oh, okay, that's the way it should be, that's the way to go. Everybody go back to the designing board, but that will take another 2 years for them to come up. So I think if you say next 18 months, that's NVIDIA's probably going to still lead everybody by a big margins. Now, there could be a bump in the next 2 quarters because people are cutting their order and putting more order in the next platform, but I don't know how much is going to read it.
I want to just sort of look further out, right? Because you're obviously an enthusiast. There's a lot of talk about AGI right now. As an enthusiast, how far do you think we are from AGI?
I think it will take much longer. I think it will take more than 5 years. Take an example, say autonomous driving. In general, I think our technology already enabled us, our autonomous driving to be better than at least 50% of the driver on the street, especially in Taiwan, not in China. But I think people will ask more, right? So it has to be better than 99.99% of the drivers. And because that's how the institution works. So for AGIs, it has to be near perfect to be able to be led. So it's not about technology, it's about institution, especially the worry that the AGI will surpass human beings. So for a very long time, it will be coming out as aid for our human beings, and it will be restricted. And so I think it will take longer for AGI to happen, not just because of technology, but because of the institution, the legal environment, the humans, acceptance. So I think it will take a little bit longer.
Okay. Well, on that note, congratulations, David. It's been a real pleasure seeing your team grow and seeing your performance proliferate and do well this year. Going into the second year, I think it's pretty critical. That's when investors really start to pay close attention to. So I wish you the best of luck in 2024, and let's catch up in the next quarter.
Thanks so much, and also want to thank all your colleagues in the OPIM. They have provided tremendous support. They are one of the best. I think definitely the best team in Hong Kong and this region. We are not possible to be successful without it.
Thank you very much, David, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you.